Good morning. Good morning, good morning. We are Higurashiing. Yay. It's gonna be... How long do I have? The stream will be a couple of hours. If I'm feeling crazy. Maybe like 3 hours, but that's pushing it. Cause I I have guitar lessons. But I really want to play Higurashi. I really want to stream Higurashi. Let's get into it. So last time, I don't remember exactly. As if looking at just the notebook page numbers is gonna help. I don't remember exactly where we left off, but Shion revealed that she's Shion, cause Satoshi probably killed his aunt. Probably. Allegedly. And Shion had to tear off her fingernails as punishment for being in love with Satoshi. Which is so normal. And Satoshi is missing. He could be on the run, he could be kidnapped, he could be dead, but we know that the teddy bear that he wanted is not there. And he withdrew some money, which could mean so many things. I think that's about where we left off. Cause Shion was talking to Oishi. Eh? What did you just say? This is information from a reliable source. It appears that they found the murderer of Satoshi-kun's aunt. I was wondering about this. It had been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been found. I had no new information on his whereabouts. Also, supposedly someone, like a few people have spotted someone that could be Satoshi, mostly because, I mean, there's one, like a, I don't know, like a train station or something, who, I don't know, he was writing his name down for some reason, and started writing Hojo, but then stopped. Which, I don't know, anyways. I had no new information on his whereabouts. Kasai's report came as a result completely out of the blue. Does that mean the police arrested the culprit? It seems that he confessed during his interrogation regarding another case. That sounded strange. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. Oh yeah, also I was thinking about Higurashi last night. You know, I completely kind of... The fact that, like, Tomitake dies and, like, rips out his own throat, I just hadn't been thinking about that. What the hell is that? I just kind of, like, yeah, that's not important. That's very important. It sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the culprit. Kasai, who's the culprit? If it wasn't Satoshi-kun? I swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi-kun. The police and Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it. Don't worry, it doesn't seem like it's Satoshi-kun. I heard it was a lunatic who was aiming to continue the series of mysterious deaths. What? A lunatic? What do you mean? Kasai shrugged. I don't know. Since the investigation is classified as a confidential case, the information I can get is limited. Confidential? Why? To prevent the village from developing a bad reputation. You don't see articles about kidnapping while the police are negotiating with the culprit, do you? It's something similar to that. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper. These strange deaths have happened 4 years in a row now, on the day of Watan Nagashi. There are those who try to make light of it, and now this lunatic who confessed the aunt's murder said he did it in imitation of the series of mysterious deaths. Kasai didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun killed her. I thought that was the reason he had to disappear, but it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever. So Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think that the Sonozaki family has, like, got someone to pretend to be, like, I don't know, confess. This music is awesome. If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. And what's really strange is the phrase Kasai used, 4 years in a row now. After all, I'd been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation, and had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi-kun's case had become somebody else's. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi-kun's case had become a part of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't like the way that sounded, because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun. Fucking Oishi, dude. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to confirm the tip that Satoshi-kun took a train to Tokyo. We don't even know whether or not he's in this prefecture, to be honest. Oishi broke the seal on a new can of instant coffee. I thought you knew his whereabouts already, since you seemed very convinced that he was the culprit. You got me. Oishi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee which looked far too hot. You had some good sources. Huh? It's a highly classified case, but you already have this information. I wonder who leaked it. Looks like we need to review our security precautions. Oishi smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today. I'm one of the Sonozakis after all, and my ears are open. I smirked back at him. It's all about bluffing. Anyway, since we're friends now, why don't we have a chat? Why don't you die? Let me ask you first. Who's this real culprit? I heard he was a lunatic, but what does that mean? I don't know how to answer that question. I want to know the answer myself. Really, I was convinced Satoshi-kun was the real culprit. His voice, it just evolves. It evolves. It was rather surprising for me too. Oishi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wryly. I don't like imagining him doing that. I don't like imagining him in motion. I don't like it. I suddenly received a call from the prefectural police the other day. They said that one of the guys in detention confessed to the murder of the housewife. Who is it? He's a real piece of work who fell into a drug habit. He's been in and out of prison for drug abuse. His statement says that he was interested in the series of mysterious deaths and wanted to imitate him. Are you sure he's the real culprit? I didn't interrogate him myself, but the prefectural police tells me that he has information that only the real culprit would know. Can you share with me? Please? He seems to have thrown the murder weapon into the OHH River. Okay. Well, see, because I kind of think that, like, everything, all the water in Hinamizawa is, like, connected, so, like, I don't know, I guess that's one of my theories. So we could find the murder weapon. Although, they're searching for it right now. If it's found, his statement will be solid. Even if the weapon wasn't found, would the case be closed? Probably. His statement clearly outlines the state of the crime scene and the body. This information, like I said, covers details that only the actual murderer would know. You don't seem quite convinced. Oishi is still... Sorry. Looking over the ceiling went quiet. As a matter of fact, the moron was already dead by the time I got their call. Oh... Dead? You know those spoons that are forked at the tip? You mean a spork? They use those at the detention facility. I was told that he swallowed one and choked on it. Okay. They couldn't tell if it was a suicide or if it was caused by some mental disorder. I imagine somebody swallowing that spoon and gagged. So the investigation- totally- I need some water. I need some water. So the investigation hadn't been done that thoroughly, but although I'm not convinced my superiors are, I think that with that, the case will be closed. Oishi turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious. This is just what I personally feel. Okay, so please keep it between the two of us. I believe that this moron is some kind of mistake. Can't just call someone a mistake, Oishi. That's mean. It might be either a big misunderstanding caused by a chain of coincidences or, you know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I still believe that the real culprit is Satoshi Hojo-kun. You sound confident. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything to prove that he was at the crime scene. We obtained a warrant to search his house after he disappeared, but we still found nothing. But you still believe he did it? Yes. Wonder how you can be so sure even though you don't have any evidence. It's incredible. Is that supposed to be like the hunch of an experienced detective? Yep. It's the hunch of a guy who's been in this business for several decades. Oishi smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved. Where did Satoshi-kun go? His disappearance convinced me that he was the culprit. If he wasn't the culprit, there'd be no real reason for him to disappear. I mean, look, I think he did do it. I think he did. But I mean, he could disappear. Maybe aliens abducted him. But like, maybe he disappeared because he didn't want Satoko to be like associated with someone who people think murdered someone. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was told by like the Sonozaki family that like, listen, you can run away, you can get out of here and we'll take care of your sister. I don't know why. I don't know why they do that. I'm just making things up. They call me the liar because I lie. What if the murder actually was done by that copycat and Satoshi-kun's disappearance had nothing to do with it? In other words, what if Satoshi-kun disappeared because the Sonozaki family didn't like my relationship with him? Or that! And he has nothing to do with the murder. Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear. I'm gonna drink my tea. I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna cough and choke and die doing that. Yummy. I don't think they'd bother to make one person disappear just because of an undesirable relationship. Well, they made Shion's 3 fingernails disappear because of an undesirable relationship. What do you hear from inside the Sonozaki family? Like I tell you, do you know anything? I wouldn't be here if I did. You're right. Oishi laughed out loud while scratching his head, and after he stopped laughing, he leaned over. Alright, how about this? Why don't we make a deal? A gentleman's deal. A deal? On what? On information about Satoshi-kun's disappearance. If you find any information like that, tell me, and I'll also provide you with information if I find any. Me when I lie. Me when I tell a fib. Do we have a deal? That sounds too convenient for you. Oishi chuckled. Shion-san. I think if we leave things as they are, they'll conclude that the moron committed the murder. If that happens, Satoshi-kun's disappearance will be treated as just another runaway minor. They won't search for him as actively as before. But I will continue searching for him. Only I will do it. I believe you're intending to do the same. I hate him. I really hate him. I really dislike him. I really dislike him as a person. I think he should grow and change as a person. Our motives are different though. I just want to know if he's safe, but you'd like to arrest him, wouldn't you? If the murder case was considered solved, Satoshi-kun would be free, regardless of his innocence. I doubt that. Nah. Oishi chuckled again, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Well, let's be friends from now on. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, no? I'm not opposed to the Sonozaki family, though. Oh, really? I apologize then. This is the way of Kurao-do Oishi, huh? As Susen Kasai said, I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally because both would be too risky. Sorry, I had a burp. Megaji goes, hey, what's up? Good to see ya. Hope you're well. I probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. Okay. I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though I wasn't thirsty. Well, I will sip on my tea. Outside the window, I could see normal life taking its course, but Satoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. This is so off topic. I've started, before streaming, I have a nice big breakfast. And you know, having a good breakfast really, like, does help. It fuels you for the day. It's crazy. It's crazy how things people say are good for you are actually good for you. Anyways, I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was he? I wonder how Satoshi-kun is doing. I hope he's alright. I hate him. I hate Oishi. I hate Oishi. I know you think he might be dead. Don't patronize me. Patronize me. Whatever. Do you know where people are calling his disappearance in Hinamizawa? Huh? They say that he was demoned away. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's part of the local dialect. Whenever I see him, I can't help but like try and imitate his facial expression. It doesn't come across properly on my model, but just know that like, I just try and do like a goofy smile. Hey. He was kidnapped and taken to hell through the bottom of the Onigafuchi swamp? That's ridiculous. Anyway, the series of mysterious deaths has struck for the 4th time. It's too soon, but people are already talking about next year. Are you saying that the murder was the result of Oyashiro-sama's curse? The victim was one of the Hojos after all. He was involved in the dam conflict, though indirectly. Really, it's not surprising that some people take an interest in the incidents because they do always happen on the day of Wachanagashi. That's ridiculous too. Oyashiro-sama's curse? Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. I mean, look, everyone, like the whole town, basically, at a festival, great time for a murder. Like, no one's gonna know. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Oyashiro-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But... That's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oyashiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. It's Rena! She knows everything! She's so smart and intelligent. When did I hear that?
How so cute!
That's right. That rainy day. It was Rena Ryugu who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. I remembered the creepy story that she told me at that time.
Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away, even if only unconsciously.
That's what Rena Ryugu said. Rena had definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at that time. She also said,
everything he's going through is a sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse.
she said that, for sure. She had definitely mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse. The series of mysterious deaths has struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was demoned away? No way. That can't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. It must have been done by human beings. I can't accept that he was demoned away. Notebook page 43. Library B? I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case with a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. I sat down in a new chair, then opened my notebook again. I scribbled my thoughts and sank into silence. The series of mysterious deaths, dubbed the curse of Oyashiro-sama, the detective! I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though it was followed by another one. I've never looked at all the cases as part of one big scheme. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year, the construction site manager. The second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. The third year, the priest. The fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the fourth year, one could consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim, rather than his aunt. If I considered that each case arose from the grudge over the dam conflict, it's quite simple. I mean, another way to look at it that isn't like, punishing people who are pro-dam, you could look at it like it's people who want to protect the village and the people in the village. Like, it's their, whoever it is. Because I think it's multiple people. There's multiple things going on here. Like how Keiichi could, you know, carry out the murder himself. I think that Satoshi did it. I don't know. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol of the dam construction itself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't as clear a target. That manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. And there was still the kidnapping, but I think that's probably a different... Like, I mean, obviously it's, like, related in the way that it's about the dam, but I think that is not the same as Oyashiro-sama's curse and stuff. Like, that's some people, probably in the Sonozaki family, I don't remember if that was confirmed, protesting by kidnapping a child, as one does. The manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Oyashiro-sama had really cursed someone, it would have been the officials from the ministry. Yeah, well, I mean, someone already kidnapped a child. It's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. It's said that they fell from a cliff in some park, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the dam construction, even though they were also from Hinamizawa. The Hojo family was ostracized during the dam conflict in order to prevent further pro-dam activists from rising up. That means that the Hojos were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The Hojos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people fell victim to the curse, and it seemed that the grudge over the dam conflict had ended. Yet those incidents were followed by another one. I have an eyelash in my eye. This tense music is appropriate for fishing an eyelash out of my eye. I think I'm okay. The third year. The leader of one of the 3 families, the priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. Mion admitted that the Sonozaki family didn't like the priest's attitude. They didn't like how the priest had been generous toward the pro-dem activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility, enemy, traitor, and dissident. This meant that the curse was actually payment. It was a punishment for the criminals of war. And the 4th year. I didn't understand this case at first, to be honest. At first I believed that this case was separate from the other ones, even though it occurred on the same day. I never thought that there would be any relation to the other 3. But when I wrote it down and looked at it objectively, I think it's, I don't know. Is it just drawing, like, conclusions between things that aren't actually, like, related? But The victim is a relative of a traitor. After enemy, traitor, and dissident, relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally as a 4th target. On the day the villagers worship Oyashiro-sama, their guardian deity, the criminals of the dam conflict have been punished by the curse. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these things out, I started thinking that the 4th incident might be in line with the series of mysterious deaths after all. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or the dope head, it seemed that they were forced to play the role of a murderer as part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun is the real culprit, even if he murdered his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seems synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his pain, but what if somebody planned that as part of a scenario? Ryokishio 7. Waggling my finger. For instance, somebody might have suggested to him to kill his aunt on that day, that night, at that place. I had no doubts that Satoshi-kun decided to kill her in order to protect Sadoko. But did he really reach that conclusion on his own? I mean, okay, good point. Satoshi-kun was optimistic and somewhat detached, as far as I know. Would he really have considered murdering his aunt, even if it was to protect his sister? I'm words. Wouldn't it be possible for somebody to have chosen the aunt as the 4th year's murder beforehand? And they used Satoshi-kun? And Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them? Looking at it that way, the murder of the 1st year resembles this case. The main culprit behind that case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that their fight had turned into a slaughter, but wouldn't it be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation? What if he had been told to kill someone on that day, at that time, and in that place? I'm certain. The first murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. So, did that mean Satoshi-kun was being controlled by somebody else? Oishi had presented me with a hypothesis that the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to end my relationship with the murderer. When I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance didn't seem too spontaneous. It seemed like part of a bigger plan. Since I'd unexpectedly gotten involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. I don't know if I buy it, but Then Satoshi-kun was demoned away as planned. At first I also believed that the Sonozaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of a family of traitors. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I wasn't the reason for his disappearance after all, even if I never met him in the first place. Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982 and then disappear. At one point I had been thinking of taking revenge on the hag. I believed that she'd separated us. What if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? What'd that mean? Lost Boy Key! Hey, good to see ya! How you doing? What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I need to understand the series of mysterious deaths in order to solve this mystery. What did all these deaths mean? Who was behind them, and what purpose did they serve? I wanted to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I wanted to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also called Oyashiro-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oyashiro-sama? What blessings does he bring and what punishment does he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in the notebook. What's Oyashiro-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it. I'm like half expecting Takano to like appear and be like, Oyashiro-sama. The boy is good. That's good. Drinking tea. That is good. I was so absorbed by it that I didn't realize somebody had been standing behind me, watching me the whole time. I couldn't stop myself from gasping when I realized that. Ah! Oh my god. I was right. I'm sorry. Did I startle you? The intelligent-looking woman giggled. No, I was just a bit surprised. Sorry about that. She could have apologized a little better too, since she'd been watching me from behind, but she just stared at my face instead. Are you Shion Sonozaki-san? You must know sis since you know my name, but I don't know who you are. Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are. I'm sorry. The Sonozaki-san I would know would never be seen in a library, so I assumed that you were her twin sister. The woman giggled again. Well, you were right. I'm Shion Sonozaki. Nice to meet you. May I ask your name? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself first. She seemed to love her own hair, because she kept running her fingers through it boastfully. I'm Mio Takano. You can call me Mio, Shion-chan. Nice to meet you, Takano-san. Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hate meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk. Oh, are you upset? Thank you for your concern. I like to be alone when thinking, so I'm moving to another spot. Excuse me. That's a shame. I thought we'd be good friends. Did you? I don't think so. I finally met someone with the same passion, a fellow researcher of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I think it's quite unusual to meet someone like that. She saw my notes. My face reddened. These are just theories. It's all nonsense. Just childish scribbles. The series of mysterious deaths is also known as Oyashiro-sama's curse. Though each death is an independent incident, all of them clearly share the same purpose. Each year, someone dies of the curse, and someone else is sacrificed and disappears. What? What are you saying all of a sudden? Someone dies and someone else... What? I was taken aback by her weird spiel, but I realized right away that she'd said something extraordinary. Didn't you notice that the number of victims is always even? Haven't you realized that yet? The number of victims is always even? I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The dam construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. In the second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi-kun, so it was 2 people. In the third year, it was the priest, and if her death was also planned, his wife, 2 again. And then this year, the 4th year, Satoshi-kun's aunt died, and Satoshi-kun went missing. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance was planned, the number of the victims was 2. It's true. Except for the first one, the victims always came in an even number, 2. Wait. I just concluded myself that the first case resembled the 4th one. The main culprit was still missing. He might have been demoned away, just like Satoshi-kun. See? Doesn't it make sense now? Takano-san sounded like a teacher who had showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what she'd said either. Did I give you enough hints? I really would have enjoyed a conversation with you, but I think you prefer being alone. I'm sorry that I wasn't respectful, Mio-san. Please call me Shion. She seemed content that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem that reliable. I didn't want to be acquainted with her for too long. But I don't get to talk to people very much, and what she said interested me. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Mio Takano. Call me Mio. Pleased to meet you, Mio-san. Mion? I'm Shion Sonozaki, Mion's twin sister. Please call me Shion. I took the hand that Mio-san held out as a sign of reconciliation. Please tell me more. You said that there are always two victims? One dies due to the curse and the other one is a sacrifice? Shion-chan, before we get into that, could you tell me why you became interested in this? She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable. Mio-san, how much do you know about me? I guess you have an idea if you know my name. I don't know much. Just that you recently returned from a boarding school. I see. So I think you can imagine that I want to know about the series of mysterious deaths that happened while I was away. I'm just curious. I see. You're curious, eh? I got the impression that she knew about what happened to Satoshi-kun and me, because she instantly recognized me as Shion, not Mion. I didn't know why I thought that way, but as she shouldn't have access to the sources that, for instance, Oishi does, it was just the look in her eyes that made me think that way. Let me ask you a question this time. You called me a fellow researcher of Oyashiro-sama's curse, didn't you? So why are you researching the curse? You also stated that there's always an even number of victims in the mysterious deaths. It's true that Hinamizawa's mysterious deaths are often called Oyashiro-sama's curse, but why would you delve into the mysterious deaths if you're researching the curse itself? Shion-chan, you're asking too many questions at once. I can't tell what you really want to know. Oh, I couldn't say anything in return. Maybe I'd been too inquisitive. I'll answer your questions one by one. I'm not just researching the curse, as my subject is much broader than that. I'm researching the history of Onigafuchi village. In plain terms, I'm researching the dark and ancient history of Hinamizawa. Onigafuchi village? Isn't Onigafuchi the bottomless swamp some people believe is connected to hell? And what dark history? I kept asking questions. Mio-san, however, looked pleased to hear them. Onigafuchi village is the old name for Hinamizawa, as it was known back before the Meiji era. About the dark history, you know a little bit about the man-eating demons, I assume? The man-eating demons, huh? This is really being hammered home. All of the history of Hinamizawa. That was a fairy tale told in Hinamizawa. A long time ago, demons came out of the swamp, and while the villagers battled with them, they ended up living peacefully together. The villagers transcended and became a sacred people, having demon blood in their veins. That long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my mind vividly. You know this story because you're a villager, of course, but what about the story of the cannibal banquet? What's that? You know that the villagers have the blood of man-eating demons in their veins, don't you? Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I dodged the question. Hinamizawa used to be a desolate village, but it grew in prominence after the Second World War, and expanded its influence to Okinomiya and other areas. The people who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us man-eating demons. I remember that. The young villagers don't take it seriously, but the older people can get seriously upset about it. They certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term man-eating demons is forbidden. We normally never use it. Even during my rebellious phase, I never spoke those words. Mio-san, however, seemed to have no qualms with saying it out loud. Are you upset? About what? I know people hate that phrase in Hinamizawa. I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable. The old people wouldn't like it, but I'm fine. Would you continue? Thanks. Okay, so the ancient villages had a custom of cannibalism. They ritualized this custom and held various ceremonies based around it. The festival we hold in June isn't just an early summer festival. It used to be a banquet in which the villagers chased after a sacrifice and ate them. They bound the sacrifice to a table, gutted them, and dumped the organs into a river. Wata can mean cotton, but it also means organs. That's the root of the word watanagashi. Been drifting. Watanagashi. Indeed. I believe they started using futon mats to cover it all up around the Meiji era, according to my research. They wouldn't be able to do that openly nowadays. Everything Mio-san was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. I couldn't wholly believe it right away. She sensed that from my expression. It's not a hoax. I didn't make any of this up. If you promise not to tell anyone, I can show you my notes on Watanagashi. Mio-san took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research thoroughly. Thank you. I'd love to read it. Sure. I'd like to keep it confidential. But I guess I should share it with my fellow researcher. Mio-san handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. It looked like it'd take a whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. I saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of hers. You told me that one person dies because of the curse and another person is sacrificed and disappears, right? A person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi-kun had gone missing. Did he become a sacrifice? What is a sacrifice anyway? Mio-san looked pleased to hear my questions again. She took out another notebook and handed it to me. I think you'll understand once you read it, but I'll give you a digest version. Oyashiro-sama's curse is simply Oyashiro-sama's anger. In other words, the curse is caused by Oyashiro-sama's anger. Do you follow? Yes. You're saying that Oyashiro-sama was mad at the people who opposed the village during the dam conflict, and that's why the curse occurred. That's right. Oyashiro-sama's anger has to be pacified. If not, something even worse will occur. So, all the successive priests at the Furude shrine had to perform a sacrifice every time the curse struck, in order to pacify Oyashiro-sama. It's called a sacrificial ritual. So, with this, this could be read as the villagers need to do something to stop the swamp from erupting. And that, the way they do that is by clogging it with organs. Or with cotton. Which, I don't know, that's kind of how I interpret this, because I do not believe that there is like a supernatural thing going on. I don't think that Oyashiro-sama is actually cursing people. And the swamp is very like essential to like the man-eating demons. I don't know. So each year on the day of Watanagashi, one person dies because of the curse, and another one is sacrificed to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger, but only one person is actually murdered each time. I've never heard of human sacrifices being made. Naturally, there's no body. The ritual of sacrifice requires the offering be sunk into the Onigafuchi swamp. That swamp is bottomless, and no one would ever surface once they were thrown in there. No body would ever be found, of course. So, one of the victims is always thrown into the swamp every year? Okay. So, Satoshi was thrown into the swamp, okay. So that means Satoshi-kun is also at the bottom of that dark green swamp? I don't know. I'm not sure that they really throw them into the swamp, but those who make these incidents happen must be eliminating one person based on that legend. Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the day of Watanagashi because of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. That person's body will never be found because he or she is supposedly thrown into the bottomless swamp. Yes, you get it. The series of mysterious deaths always involves both the curse and the sacrifice. It's a system that allows two traitors to die every year. So, was this going on before the dam site murder? Dismemberment? Do we just not know about it because the bodies just disappear? What I'm telling you now probably isn't sufficient, so it might be hard to grasp. Maybe they just get like some old person who dies and throw him into the swamp, and that's how they, I don't know, avoided trouble. Instead, I want you to take the time to read my notes. You'll see that what I'm telling you isn't far from the truth at all. Not far from the truth. I heard a man's voice just then. Tomitake? A middle-aged man with a hat was waving at Mio-san from the entrance. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to talk to you more, but I guess we'll have another chance to chat. Does Tomitake have a hat? I don't remember. He does. He has a cap, doesn't he? I'll leave those notes to you. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. Are you just giving them to me? Mio-san wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her old notebooks in my hands. Mio-san waved at me as she left the library with her companion. That's a lot to be, like, trusting Shion with. Just these two notebooks full of research and information. I took a seat again and opened what she'd given me. What bugged me was the series of mysterious deaths, also known as the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Maybe I'd be able to get closer to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I studied them carefully, I might be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi-kun have to disappear? What was he involved in? How did that happen? Maybe Takono's notes would bring me the answer. Research notes, Mio Takono. I started flipping the pages, this time making sure that no one was watching over my shoulder. I do not know what this is a picture of, by the way. I have no idea. It was time for the library to close. I had to leave. I bought some food on my way home. I shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door of the neighboring apartment open. Kasai lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of the nearly empty apartment building anyway. I had clearly heard the door open and close. Kasai must have noticed that I came home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I unlocked the door and shouted out to him. "Is that you, Kasai? I'll leave the door unlocked for you." "Not Kasai-san, Shion." A voice. I twitched. "Can I come in?" "Sure, sis." The door slowly opened. My alter ego Mion Sonozaki appeared. She was holding a box of cake, while smiling timidly. "Are you going to keep standing there until I escort you? Come in!" "Sorry, this room doesn't look very cute." "It looks comfortable." Sis looked a bit tense when entering my room. It was her first time here. "How's life?" "My new school is as boring as I thought it would be. I usually go, but I skip classes when I don't feel up to it. I couldn't do that when I was going to St. Lucia's." So St. Lucia's was really tough, huh? You should go there sometime. Sorry. I brought cake. Let's eat. Neon opened the box. I saw 2 cheesecakes in there. We have the same taste in food, so we don't have to fight if we get 2 of the same thing. I chatted with her over the cheesecake. I talked to her about school and whatnot. If you need any furniture, tell me. I might be able to get some for you. I finally got used to this room, but I might move out soon, so furniture won't be necessary. Thanks though. Dad wants me to come back home. I don't want to live with him, but he sounds desperate. He'd be pleased if you came home. He looked lonely while you were gone. Huh, you'd only say that because you don't have to live with him. Come to think of it, this was the first time I talked to Sis since I was allowed to live as Shion Sonozaki. She didn't look like how she was at the Sonozaki house that day. The successor of the Sonozaki family and my twin sister are 2 different people. The demon lives inside the leader of the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same, except for the tattoo of a demon on her back. Mion's destiny as the successor was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that night was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails, I had momentarily despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd have done the same. Shion, how were your fingernails? The wounds have closed. I don't bandage them anymore because it looks too conspicuous, but my nails still look ugly, so I don't really like showing them to people. I stared at her, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Mion grew quiet and looked down. Imagining it, I don't like it. You don't have to apologize. You did what you had to do. You just played the role of the successor. I'm not holding any grudges. I'm sorry. Okay, apology accepted. But if you apologize one more time, that'll be cancelled. I won't forgive you for the rest of my life. Huh? What do you mean? Once you start apologizing, you never stop, so I'm cutting you off. Will you really forgive me? About Satoshi-kun as well? My heart ached when she mentioned his name. Felt just like the ache of an old wound. I figured you loved him. No wonder I shouted it out loud in front of all of you. Not embarrassed anymore. Why? This makes it sound like she did something to Satoshi. I don't know if I'm misreading that, or if Shion is just overlooking that, or like Ooh. Granny truly believes you've atoned. She thinks you've done all you needed to do. So the matter is finished. Sorry, I'm moving my mic. That's good. My pain went good waste then. I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to though. I started choking when I heard her say that. I just said it to her myself. I said that I'd forgiven her completely, but that promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said, I felt like I'd turned into a completely different person. What did you just say, Mion? Did you say, I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to? Who else could know other than you and your folks? What did you say? Where did he go? I felt my eyeballs reddening in anger. I felt as though they were about to pop. I choked on a burning sensation in my throat. Mion's expression rapidly changed. It looked like she noticed the devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We could understand each other's thoughts without voicing them. So showing our expressions was like unveiling everything in our hearts to the other. Sorry. Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mion apologized. I felt like strangling her. I was going to make her confess where she'd hid Satoshi-kun. If she told me she threw him into the Onigafuchi swamp, I'd strangle her to death right then and there. I really don't know what happened to Satoshi-kun. That's a lie. It's true. Granny doesn't know anything either. Please believe me. That's a lie. Are you saying that Oyashiro-sama's curse demoned him away? That can't be a curse. That can't be. Words kept coming out of my mouth like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking by my own will anymore. It was the demon who was controlling me. The demon that had been sleeping deep inside me woke up and was speaking through my mouth. My hands, the demon's hands grabbed Mion by the neck. You guys demoned Satoshi-kun away. You and the Sonozaki family. Give him back to me. Give him back. My hands slowly but surely squeezed Mion's neck. Mion put her hands onto mine. I looked at her fingers. 3 of the fingernails on her left hand looked as ugly as mine. Mion? What's this? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I didn't have to answer. She had the same scars I did. She atoned as well. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. So, did she get these wounds around the same time as I did? It was unfair that only you had to go through that. It felt so bad. Mion started sobbing. I stood there petrified, still wringing Mion's neck. Since I found out you loved Satoshi-kun, I really wanted you to be happy. Because it's always only you who has to suffer, even though we're twins. It didn't come as a surprise to me that Mion might also have loved Satoshi-kun as I did. We've always liked the same stuff, and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obligated towards someone like me. I told Granny to leave you and Satoshi-kun alone. I shouted at her. And she said she'd let you be you if... What? Then she'd let you be. Okay. She'd let you be if you atoned with sincerity. And you did. So you were supposed to live happily with him. But Satoshi-kun has gone away. That's terrible. That's... Mion isn't smart enough. Just shed crocodile tears. Those tears were real. The tears dissolved my demon's anger like how the sun melts ice. Leave me, Shion. I really don't know why Satoshi-kun disappeared. Neither Granny nor the Sonozaki family have anything to do with it. Granny forgave you, so she would never do anything to him. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? I took my hands off her neck and held her instead. I'm not hurt. You've been hurt a lot more than me, haven't you? I shouted at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I had been convinced it was the Sonozaki family that made Satoshi-kun disappear, but Mion denied it while shedding tears. Between her and me, the tears are more convincing than any words. So, I'd believe in her. It absolutely wasn't the Sonozaki family that made him disappear. So, do you really think that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of Oyashiro-sama's curse? I don't believe in curses, and Mion didn't do it. If it wasn't the curse of the Sonozaki family who demoned him away, I don't know. I just know it's not Mion. It's not the Sonozaki family because Mion says so. That stupid Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi-kun's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, Demon. I can hear his voice. I know he's mumbling with an ambivalent expression like he always used to do, even though he knows help won't come. I'll help him no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. You just want to take it out on somebody. It doesn't matter who. But I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to take control. Fuck off. Don't ever show up again. Yeah, you tell that demon. Demon faded away. My body went limp and I fell to the floor while holding Mion. Shion, are you alright? I'm alright now. Mion. Why are we two different individuals? Why can't we just be one? Stop it. We've asked ourselves that too many times. So many times, but there's no answer. I'm Shion and you're Mion. That's just how it is. I don't care if I'm Mion or Shion. I just want to be one and equal with you. There's nothing we can do. You have the demon on your back. You're destined to become the successor. And we can't change that. I don't want that. I don't need a demon. I don't want it. I'm not a demon, I'm not. I want to be a human like you. Mion is a demon, and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. Was it impossible for humans to live with demons after all? It should be possible, because they did it before. That's the legend of Hinamizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together, as Oyashiro-sama watched over them. Mion, Shion, Satoshi-kun, demons, humans, Oyashiro-sama's curse, the series of mysterious deaths, Satoshi-kun's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other, while holding everything. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry! What the hell? What the hell? They fell asleep while holding each other. I'm pouting right now. My bottom lip's sticking out. That's really... I don't know why that's getting to me so much. They just want to be one. They don't want to have to... Oh. They don't want to have to be a demon and a human. They just want to be... If they weren't twins, if they were just one person, then they wouldn't be feeling like that. But because they're twins, they have to be different people. They have to be a demon and a human. Oh man! I don't know why. I don't know why that's got to me so much. Alright, notebook page 50. I saw Mio Takano a few times after that. At her core, she was fascinated with the bizarre, and she had an insatiable curiosity that was just as strong. I have to remind myself not to take her story too seriously. Otherwise, I might start believing that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of the curse. She talks about the dark history of Hinamizawa a lot. It's all very interesting. Her theories are based on nothing but conjecture, but some of her intuition covers facts that only members of the Sonozaki family would know. So, like... Mio is really suspicious. Takano is really suspicious. And thinking about Tomitake's death, and then later in chapter 1 question mark Keiichi's death, in the same way that Tomitake died, because I believe, like, I could be wrong here, but I think it is chapter 1 where Keiichi dies by ripping out his own throat, like in the same way that Tomitake does, seemingly at least. I think that Keiichi went to, like, the clinic and got, like, a shot, because he was feeling unwell. So if... I don't, like... Maybe this is the Umineko in me, but, like, I feel like saying, oh, there's a mystery drug that, you know, Takano injected these people with that makes them claw out their own throats. That feels like the same as saying it's magic. Like, that feels like, I don't know, like making something up that perfectly fits the situation. But I don't know. Wasn't Rika, I don't remember if it was, I think it must have been chapter 2, where I think Rika and Satoko were found dead at the bottom of the well? The well in the torture chamber, the Sonozaki place, where I think Rika had, like, needles in her pocket? Because it was, like, asked, like, oh, does Rika have, like, diabetes or something? And yeah, and then there's also the scene in chapter 1, obviously, where Mion and Rena are like, we're gonna do to you what we did to Tomitake, and they have like a needle, they're gonna like inject him with something, and then he kills them. Which is playing into the idea of it's a mystery drug that makes you claw your throat out, but that's not actually what they had. They had a marker. They were gonna draw on his shirt. Anyways, what up? Where am I? Who am I? I'm Waz. Okay. She thinks that Oyashiro-sama's curse is the continuation of these ancient rituals. Right. What I was thinking is, if Takano is like, I don't think that there is just one culprit, but I feel like she probably killed Tomitake, right? Like, I don't know how involved she is with the other murders though. But look, if she's like the culprit, one of the culprits, trying to draw blame away from herself, I don't know, maybe she pushed Satoko's parents off a cliff. Like, researching this curse so much, it could be like a genuine interest of hers, and maybe then she's like, I'm gonna carry out this curse. Or it could be like, oh, this would be a really funny cover. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna do something so funny. I'm gonna dedicate my life to researching this curse and this village's history, and then I'm gonna kill people, and then I'm gonna know because they're gonna think I'm gonna be spreading misinformation. Anyways, she thinks that Oyashiro-sama's curse is the continuation of these ancient rituals. In other words, she believes that the curse is performed by religious fanatics. According to her theory, a religious cult once existed in Hinamizawa, and the 3 families stemmed from it. She believes that they are operating behind the scenes in order to revive the dignity of the Onigafuji people, which was lost during the Meiji era. Mio-san's theories are far-reaching, and looking at them on a large scale, they end up making a lot of sense. But they can't offer any explanation for Satoshi-kun's disappearance when using them on a smaller one. Yeah. Her theories are just too broad. Notebook page 64. A stack of pages. Exchanged information with Oishi every now and then. No! We'd each expect new leads from each other, but neither of us had any luck. I no longer believe the tip that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo. It was clearly bogus anyway. Although I can't befriend Oishi, he's been fair about the deal. He alone has been serious about uncovering any new information. Oishi's sources are quite reliable, so whenever I found some dubious tip, I'd check with him to see if it was valid. My meetings with him have diminished in frequency since he's been assigned to new cases. Eventually, we stopped meeting entirely. Oishi stopped investigating, and I reached the limits of my sources of information. People now think that Satoshi-kun's disappearance was a supernatural phenomenon called demoning away. In Hinamizawa, they refer to his disappearance as him having transferred, and nobody will talk about it otherwise. I don't like the way that phrase is used to erase him. Page 85. During the upheaval surrounding Oyashiro-sama's curse in 1982, I was pulled this way and that by new leads on Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Every time I found information that looked promising, I kept changing my theories. But that also became an incredible burden on me. It wore me down plenty on its own. The fatigue was harsh, but it also provided a very kind acceptance. Bit by bit, it soothed away the anger, sadness, and doubt that wore me down. I'll never forget Satoshi-kun. I'll never try to forget him and move on. I constantly repeated those to myself in my head. I repeated them to keep my memories of Satoshi-kun from fading too, over and over. For the sake of my fun memories of Satoshi-kun, together with my fear and my sadness, I repeated them forever and ever. Aww. Save. Gonna take a little break. Love that is light and fleeting like a soap bubble. If it seeks the sky, it will break and vanish before long. The girl's thoughts weren't granted. The tears that were shed changed to the color of blood and yearned for sacrifice. The sadness that pierced her transformed into rage and ultimately to murderous intent. Everything was absorbed in pure black, and the darkness continued to spread, in the end, even to herself. Meakashi. Would it be better if I hadn't been born? This blood-stained hand couldn't even grasp the air. AD 1983. The fourth year of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as Oyashiro-sama's curse, 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Okay, gonna take a quick break. I am so interested. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Okay. I'm gonna run a 2-minute ad break. And I will return. I'll see you soon. Yay! Wah. I return, I return. Alright, let us continue. I return, I return. I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Since I got a part-time job at my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to get to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still used the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there today. Damn that teacher. She told my parents that I was skipping classes. My dad got upset and that's why I didn't want to stay at home. I'd been asking for it though. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza, and that he gets really scary when he's mad. On the whole, my life had been going well so far, except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going grocery shopping and thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. Oh wait, isn't there a 100 yen sale today? Yeah, there is. I knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! What the— Who parked this motorcycle here? Oh my god. You know what's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen? She's gonna get cornered by some dudes again. And then you know who's gonna show up? Keiichi. Keiichi's gonna show up. I was thinking, are we gonna meet Keiichi? This is how we meet him. I gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was beautiful and so much fun. Oh, this was odd. Felt like I'd gone through the exact same experience before. But it all lines up so much. Oh yeah. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall when that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looked like these punks were the owners of those motorcycles. They started shouting at me. This really was strange. I was having deja vu. The fuck are you, bitch? What you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitches. Even the same dialogue. Grah, gonna pay for what you did. That's right. It was when I met Satoshi-kun for the first time. He came to save me. If I pretended to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish, and I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my ears. Cut it out. Can't you see she's crying? It was a boy about my age. I couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. I can't wait. I can't wait. Satoshi-kun? Of course it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. What is this top? Oh my god, he's so cute! Oh my god! Wait, I didn't think he'd have such a cute face! Okay, that— yeah, whatever. Why did they change his crop top? What is this? Why would they do that? Why would they change it? What's wrong with them? This is a really cute sprite. I don't know, his face is so cute in this. I think it's like the pout. These ones, yeah, makes sense. Drugs. Just a guy. When I snapped out of my daydream, I realized that it wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak. If Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. What the hell? What the fuck are ye? You wanna get hurt or what? Who can say something, son of a bitch? The boy looked a bit taken aback. Well... I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so... Wait, this one's so funny. He's like, Huh? The fuck you think you telling us what to do? Whoa, whoa, hold on. I'm against violence. What was up with this guy? I felt ashamed that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun even for a second. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all. Well, I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles were knocked down, but I hope you don't feel too bad about it. How can I make you feel better? Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know? If you don't got the money, then if you got no money, you gotta pay with your body. This chick's got some real nice boobies. Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened my grip on the stun gun in my pocket. Then I turned it up to the maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs. What the fuck? I'm not reading this. I'm not reading this. Hey now, why are you perverts closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. You gotta try and violate me. This is... Oh my god. Calm down. Hey, are you out of your mind? Don't touch me with those filthy hands. Then a flash of light cut through the air. Was that the boy? You stupid fucks! Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, so he was actually strong after all. What the hell? You want some? Huh? You don't have a clue, idiots. What the fuck are you on about? Nothing arousing about stark nakedness. Leave her socks on it, please. No matter what. Okay, genuinely really funny, actually. That is the ironclad rule. Listen up, monkeys. What's the difference between Homo sapiens and other animals? That they wear socks. That's right, humans wear clothes. Human beings without clothes are just animals. If you get aroused only when the girl is completely naked, you are less than human. You might as well be animals. I'm gonna knock some sense into you. Clench those teeth. Keiichi, it's not kun. It's not kun. It's not gay. If you, my brain just, it autofills. Keiichi-kun. Keiichi, it's not gay if you have socks on, my butter. Thank you very much for your service. Woof. Oh. Ah. You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you? Stop. The definition of cosplay is too broad. To lecture on that subject is as difficult of explaining the spirit of Yamato to Yankees parachuting down from B-29. So I'll limit the scope to the most popular one: school uniforms. What are the three most prominent divisions in the larger category of school uniforms? Answer me. That's right. Regular uniforms, gym uniforms, and school swimsuits. Both the sailor style and blazer style are included under regular uniforms, by the way. Gym shorts and bloomers are likewise. And the color preference between white and navy school swimsuits is the same. Well, doesn't this sound exciting already? Let's see, each of you has a preference in one of these three divisions. Hey, you delinquent A, you take the regular uniform. Delinquent B, you take the gym uniform. And you delinquent C, you take the school swimsuit. Picture the image in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again. Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination. Come on. Say so, yes, so when you got it. Are you really military men, you maggots? Good, you all seem to have an image in your heads now. Let's move on. Imagine your favorite cosplay is stripped entirely naked because of your stupid desire. Now think. If you take all of their clothes off, that's not cosplay anymore, is it? That sort of video is rampant lately. It's just lamentable. Speaking of, I'm actually thinking of getting I'm thinking of getting a March 7th cosplay. I don't have it in me to make a cosplay. I'm not at that level yet, but I'm thinking of buying the outfit and the wig, and I won't bother with getting the shoes because I don't know, I can't imagine they'd be comfortable, so I think I'm just gonna take some of my like cool shoes and just, I don't know. So shoes have like a little, her shoes have like a collar, like a shirt collar. I think maybe I could probably make that myself, right? And I was also thinking, because I don't have my ears pierced, I could do like an ear cuff thing, because I like her little earring that she has, but I was thinking maybe I could braid a bit of the wig and like tie like a little ribbon to it to fulfill the same role. That's my wisest strategy. Anyways, back to this. I'm also, no, not back to this. I'm also thinking of getting a, is it just called a crimper? I'm thinking of crimping the wig, because my last cosplay that I did, which was also my first cosplay, I cosplayed Mutsumi from Ave Mushika, and her wig was very long and straight, and it did get quite messy. So it would be nice if this one holds the shape. The good thing with the Mutsumi, I mean, yeah, the thing with the Mutsumi wig is that I didn't have to style it too much because it's mostly just long and straight. But with the March wig, that's got all the anime going on things. So anyways, let's get back to this. It's just lamentable. Humans without clothes aren't civilized, they're animals. If only naked girls excited you, you'd be a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants. Pack your bags and get out. Wait, get back here. As you know, a huge amount of Russian porn vids are going around lately thanks to the end of the Cold War. You don't know that? Get out of here. I heard that a style called called Beautiful Russian Schoolgirl, which is a combination of the Japanese uniform fetish and some Russian thing, is emerging, but I'll never accept that. School uniforms are part of Japanese culture and art. Those stupid barbarians will never understand the Japanese spirit. Are you listening? You pathetic squid. Clench your teeth. I'll train you till you drop. I will let you sleep until you are capable of perfecting your imagination skills. Here comes my whip. At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. Mayabara-san! I gathered some people! I saw several kids running towards us. Seemed like our backup had arrived. Aw shit, let's get out of here. The three punks had just been standing their gate, but they started running away when they saw that many people. You know, previously in Higurashi, when they pull some shit like this, I'm like, please stop. But this time around, you know, actually funny. I laughed. And you know he's not wrong. Anyways. You're awesome, Mayabara-san. You had those punks transfixed all by yourself. You know, I really like his sprite. I think it's really cute. Oh my god! Child jump scare? One of them even had a nosebleed. Oh my god! Children jump scare? You're so strong, Mayabara-san. I think that's because they were mentioning things. Phew! Aw, look at his smile! Cute! I didn't expect him to be cute! Seems my personal aura has grown more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon surpass even Coach's Maid in Heaven reality marble. Anyway, are you all right, Mion? The boy was apparently called Mayabara. He turned around to face me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Satoshi-kun. But Satoshi-kun isn't a pervert like him. I was anxious to see how you'd fight back, but I guess 3 guys were too many, huh? I don't believe it. I was still confused. I couldn't yet grasp the situation. Oh my god, so close. Oh my god, back off, back off, back off. I like this sprite. I actually genuinely prefer this sprite to the others. Maybe it's the crop top. Who was this guy? Mion has friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock, so I forgot to move until his hand touched my head. Well, you know, I'll forget that I saw you cry, so cheer up, okay? Rub rub. The boy called Mayabata stroked my head roughly. It didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Oh, Shion. Falling in love with the first guy she sees. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Mayabata. Kei-chan for short. He's only one grade below us. Not only that, but he'd just moved to Hinamizawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he'd already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him. But Satoshi-kun is way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from sis. Oh, was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. I felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it. Thanks, Kei-chan. Let me buy you a drink. My uncle's restaurant is just nearby, so why don't we go there? Satoshi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Keiichi Mayabata said okay within 2 seconds. Well then, couldn't wait to tease the two of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. Whoa, hey, don't cling to my arm. Oh, didn't you like it? Well, I don't hate it, but it's just your breasts that are touching me, and my breasts bother you? Hee 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 hee. I just gotta grip my teeth and get through those lines. Keiichi Mayabata was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile. I guess Kei-chan is really your favorite, huh sis? What's the most interesting thing about him? Let's see. To put it plainly, he's just funny. For example, just a couple of days ago in the club, Mion really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so it was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him. But my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. I wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? The case had already been solved though. That dopehead was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about it too much. Oh wait, I know. The case was confidential, so the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public, so Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he'd be waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Satoko at least? He should tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. That stupid Satoko. She'd been living with Rika for a day since Satoshi-kun went away, so nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl. Don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number, so he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinamizawa. Maybe he's been calling Satoko every night. He keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satoko might be taking a bath or in the restroom. He put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always. I imitated his voice without realizing it. After that, What? Huh? What's up? Didn't you say something, Shion? I laughed it off and urged Mion to continue. I realized then that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. I had thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan, but Mion sounded grim now. The faint smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on, so instead I concentrated on her story instead. After all that, Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift. Everybody except for me. Ooh. Okay. Except for you. I wanted one too, but I couldn't say it in front of everybody. You still can't express your needs, huh? And then? Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of tears. The cutest doll was in Kei-chan's bag. And you wanted that doll? It didn't matter which one, but although Kei-chan knew only I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. Okay, Keiichi, it's not gay if you have socks on, my brother. That's what he said. That was Keiichi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun. I want to start all over. I want to go back to when I just met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning. Don't take it too seriously. It'll be okay, because it's just you who wants to start over. Well, he didn't even notice anything wrong. It'd be harder if you guys fought over it or something. Can I start over? You didn't cry in front of him. It's not too late. You can cry as much as you want now, and if you show him a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it. Okay. I'm amazed how insensitive he is, but part of that is just the impression you've been giving him so far. If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind. How do I change my attitude? How? If I tell you to act cute, you'd start going to school in frilly clothes. So don't think and just be natural, but without overdoing it. Pay attention to how you behave around him. And don't forget to be cautious of Rena. She's a bit ahead of you so far. Kei-chan might prefer Rena at this point. Oh, it's true. Rena's really girly. She's cute and caring. That just means you can't slack off for even a moment, sis, because you've got a rival. Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them. You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts. That's how you typically do it. Maybe I should try that on Kei-chan myself. No, don't. He's the boy you like, so I guess it's natural that I like him too. How can I attract him? Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? No, never. I'll kick you into orbit if you come near Hinamizawa. I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is, or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mion was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow on with red tearful eyes, but I sensed a deeply negative feeling emerging inside me. Nobody was blaming Mion for being happy with Keiichi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mion's mind anymore, filled as it was with Kei-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back or not, just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all this time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Keiichi Maebara, and if I let my guard down, he might just fill up the space I'd been saving for Satoshi-kun. If Shion Sonozaki had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I'd paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections. And I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oyashiro-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely his survival seemed. I've returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her, and then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I'd made new friends, and in the same way, as falling leaves covered the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early, and it'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the rainy season now, but we'd had no rain at all. The Watanagashi festival was right around the corner. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Hinamizawa, they don't allow you to talk openly about Oyashiro-sama's curse, or the series of mysterious deaths. So everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. That's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traders. He fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year running. He was demoned away. Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. You know when like you're running downhill and you start going really fast and then like you kind of can't slow down? That's how I talk sometimes. And then I stumble over myself. To make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living on Hinamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable, but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name, and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Keiichi Maebara wouldn't even know him. I seriously believed that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi-kun. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in a baseball game with you again, and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you, and I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was so warm. Felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. Oh, I haven't opened my eyes. I haven't opened this notebook for a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me who's been sleeping since last year is slowly waking up. Notebook page 150. Ah! I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Keiichi-san.
He is a boy after all. Mi-chan, Shi-chan, Keiichi-kun looks confused. How?
Did you hear that, sis? We're not playing tug of war here. Are you trying to tear Keiichi-chan apart? I'm not playing tug of war. You're the one who's stretching him. Go back to Okinomiya, Shion. Okay, I will. Oops. I let go of Keiichi suddenly, so he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush head first. What lively people. See you, Keiichi-chan. Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going. Oh, Shion. Thanks for today. Forget it. I didn't do much. See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. He stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Excuse me, I'm going. See you, sis. Don't have her come here again. Rena, keep your eyes on her. Satoko, set traps. Rika-chan, purify this area with salt. Cute. Cute. The warmth remained on the top of my head. Felt ticklish and sore. I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against a telephone pole. I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Never forgot about you. I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. I can't stand life without you because it's grey and cold and boring. It's true. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't. See you, Shion. Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. I recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all. Copium. Oh, Satoshi-kun. Oh, wow. Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this. But he knew that he had better say something. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. So he just mumbled. Sorry, Shion. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi-kun? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change, my heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart, little by little. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me. So don't say that. I've been here with you all this time, but I think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. That's not true. No, no, no. Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me. Tell me where you are. What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me. There isn't an address. I knew it. Telling me you've always been with me, always by my side. That's such a cliche. Which do you prefer, Shion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. Don't say that. I want to be with you. Always. I want to be with you forever. Okay. Stay with you then. A car passed by. The noise snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home to Okinomiya. You're with me, right? Are you with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I stopped when I reached my bike. Then I heard an extra footstep. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me, so I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there. Satoshi-kun. I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I've been too insensitive to feel his existence until now. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun. A breeze tickled my hair. It felt cold, but for me it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Poor kid. Man. You've got so many emotions. Stretch. I was too scared to sleep. If I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi-kun there in the morning. So I kept talking to him until I passed out. I told him about what happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I'd searched for him, looking into various different things. I'd gathered underground information through Kasai and bargained for police information with Oishi. But I couldn't find any leads. Long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. Etc., etc. I told him all the small details from my daily life. The places I wanted to go with him, the things I wanted to do with him, the food I wanted to share with him, and I told him a lot of things. I'd be sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I lay down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I've ever had. That's really sad. That's really sad. Oh my god. Oh. When I woke up, I didn't find Satoshi-kun by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That was why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I'd resigned myself to that, I felt Satoshi-kun's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all. I thanked God. And so, I began my strange life with Satoshi-kun. As promised, Satoshi-kun was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head, but he was always with me, always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed that all I could hear was his footsteps. It's just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd, but he never left me. He was tangible. I'd be taking his hand all the time so that he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel them very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were because he was just a presence. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. First I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore, but Satoshi-kun got upset about that. He'd keep mumbling unhappily. Not that I knew he'd always be with me. I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him, however, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, and I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Satoshi-kun will always be by my side. Yeah, that was his promise. He never breaks his promises. I was fine because he was there. Of course, I couldn't tell anybody about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. But I was certain that he was with me. So, it'd be alright. I never get fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know? We always take walks together, but when I stop, he always walks one extra step. That's so adorable. I love it. Girl, you're being stalked. Oh man. I actually don't know what it is, but that seems kind of likely. Shion-san, what are you going to do on Watanagashi this year? I guess I'll have some fun at the festival. Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. I wanted to go to the festival with Satoshi-kun. I knew he liked to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan, but Satoshi-kun isn't very sensitive in that way. Satoshi-kun loved to see me and my friends have fun, so I should have a lot of fun for his sake. Then I'd talk about the day with him later. How are you going to Hinamizawa? I can give you a ride if you want. I'm taking my moped, so you don't have to. That won't do. Aren't you going to the family party afterwards? I can't let you drive under the influence. He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink. Alright, take me then. Good. Let's leave before nightfall. I'll come pick you up around that time. After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi-kun was excited about going to the festival. Watanagashi, huh? So, it's been almost a year since he went away. Satoshi-kun seemed confused. I bet you're going all, right now, aren't you? We laughed together. Pulling out my notes, frantically pulling out my notes. Hold on. Would have been chapter 2. Where is? I've thought of something and yeah. Where I'm thinking about when here it is. So this is from chapter 2. This is in chapter 12 of chapter 2. Like at the very end, whole incident occurred. Victim was Shion Sonozaki. Late on the same night, neighbors overheard her having a big fight with someone and informed the manager. The room had been torn apart and appeared to show traces of a fight. Oh, okay. One neighbor has frequently visited Sonozaki house. Said he heard what sounded like the two sisters having a fight, trading insults back and forth. Okay, oh, a thorough search of the room did not reveal any traces that would imply anyone but the victim was present. So, what I was thinking of, what if she was having an argument with quote-unquote Satoshi-kun? Alright. Welcome! Here's your nut in a bowl. Great. Wow, these fish are so active. They look delicious. I could eat this little one right here. Huh? What are you saying, Mion-san?
Mi-chan, you eat goldfish? Did you eat the one I gave you last year too?
No, I didn't say that. Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red. But she just said it. You said they look delicious. I heard it too. Sis eats everything as long as it fits inside her mouth.
If it's really good, I'll try it once. No, you can't, Rika-chan. You're gonna get sick.
Wait a minute. Hey, you. How long have you been here, Shion? Hi, Kei-chan, Sis, and everyone else. Good evening. When did you get here, Shion? I've been here since you were at the chow mein booth. I found you guys quickly since you were making so much noise. Hey, you're not in our club. Get lost. Don't be mean, sis. Right. Kei-chan? You're fine if I come with you guys, right? I took Kei-chan's arm and held it between my breasts. Puff puff. We were going to have a ball.
Hello.
I went around the booths with Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Kei-chan and Sis too. Kei-chan was at the center of the group, so if it did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment... Okay, I was like, did I misread that? When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. I like these sprites. I do. If he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad that I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. Takono? Tomitake? As it turned out, it was somebody I knew. Yay! Oh, looks like you're having fun. Good evening, Shion-chan. The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Oh, it's been forever, Takono-san. And you were... Nice to meet you. I'm Tomitake. I heard you were Mion-chan's twin sister. Nice to meet you too, Tomitake-san. I heard you were a great cameraman. Please take a picture of me someday. I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional. Well, you're actually great, Jiro-san. You're good at many things. No, I need to study more. I have no talent, so I have to put out a lot of effort to compensate. They must have been in a relationship. You two look so happy together. Am I interrupting you? Oh no, I appreciate your consideration, but you're not interrupting us at all. And you can call me Mio like before, not Takano-san. It's a bit hard for me to call someone older than me by her first name. Well, never mind. I smiled bashfully, and Takano-san smiled back elegantly. I haven't seen you in the library since. I wanted to talk to you more as a fellow researcher. Well, when I feel like it. Fellow researcher? Are you interested in it too, Shion-chan? I mean, in the legend of this village? Tomitake-san raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano-san's hobby wasn't exactly normal. On the surface, her research dealt with the cultural history of ancient Hinamizawa, but its main focus was the Watanagashi festival from ancient times. Thinking my oida. The cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. That was where her main interests lay. So I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then that I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Watanagashi festival, the dedication dance, Pyrite! Was about to start. What's up, Pyrite? Good to see you! Yay! Hope you're well. Good morning, good morning. Technically still morning. Yes, yes, yes. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, the part of the dance where the shrine maiden tears open a futon mat represents gutting a living victim. Starting, I should head over. Aren't you guys coming to see Rika-chama's performance? Tomitake-san looked bewildered. That mean he wasn't coming? They're breaking into the shrine storehouse. Oh, sneaky, sneaky. Takano-san giggled, then whispered in my ear. To tell you the truth, we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual storehouse. Eh? She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is sort of a treasure house belonging to the Furude shrine. I'd heard that Oyashiro-sama's sacred treasures were stored in there. Only people from the Furude family and selected members of the other three families are allowed to enter. They believe that if other people enter, the place will be desecrated. Everybody in Hinamizawa must have been curious about what was in there when they were kids. But the storehouse was always tightly locked. You couldn't just peek into it either. Kids would get chided if they played around it, so they'd learn to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. We played Raging Loop. It rings a bell. I haven't though. Psychological horror story. Oh, in the secluded Japanese village of Yasumizu. Ooh. You might really like it. You get it on Steam. I'm looking at it. Ooh. Ooh. Tribute to Japanese folklore? Okay, that sounds okay. Branching story. New game plus? Okay, that sounds actually really interesting. Maybe I will play this. New Game Plus is crazy. New Game Plus in a visual novel is crazy. Well. I might have another game in my backlog. Looks good. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. The like Japanese like folklore stuff, that's very Higurashi. That's awesome. And I mean also the psychological horror, but you know. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. Were they still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that? I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked. It was, until last year. Rika-chan had the heavy bolt changed to a cheap padlock, because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift. Did you know that? No, but even if it's cheap, it's still locked, isn't it? Jiro-san is very skilled. Oh, are you good at lockpicking? Once the Watanagashi ritual starts, everyone will gather around the stage, right? Then the area around the storehouse will be completely devoid of people. Tonight, this place will be a blind spot. Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. According to her hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture would be found in the ritual storehouse. Why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. So maybe I'll see you then. Takuno-san, what are you telling her? Just girl talk. Let's go to some dark place for a quick date. Huh? Takuno-san walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Tomitake-san. The ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Satoshi-kun fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. His aunt's death was the sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun was the sacrifice to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. That was what Takuno-san said last year. It was just her hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny her hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Satoshi-kun was still alive. If her hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to retrieve the ancient custom. In order to revive the ancient custom of Onikafuchi. Pyrite, I saw, I took a screenshot of it, hold on. Let me get it. Great job! True was your most used raid across other channels in the last 30 days, 130 times! Oh man. That would mean that it was them who killed Satoshi-kun. True! So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Okay, so she's like, I want to go in there because I want to prove the theory wrong. By going in there and seeing that it's not torture, it's just shit. Maybe it was filled with broken... What is this? Did I looked this word up before? Palanquin? Yes, I have.
Palanquin.
Palanquin, yeah, I have. I looked this up before. Maybe it was filled with broken palanquins or freshly painted signboards for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi-kun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, no, I thought it was like he was sacrificed because he saw the inside of the ritual storehouse, but she's saying if I see the inside of the ritual storehouse, it'll disprove the hypothesis that he was sacrificed. Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi-kun would come back. Satoshi-kun. What should I do? Since most people went to see Rika-chama's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, I couldn't sense Satoshi-kun. Did he go somewhere? Or was I not paying enough attention? Or maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular? After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I'd been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi. He was jumping up and down, trying to see Rika-chama's dedication dance over other people's shoulders. Short! If I took him along, we could split the guilt. Or Yashiro-sama might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. I wanted a partner in crime. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Whoa, what am I thinking? That must have been the demon inside me. I shook the thought out of my head, blaming all my bad thoughts on the demon inside me. What's going on, Shion? Where's the best place to see Rika-chan's dance from? Is it far? Huh? I never said I was gonna show you that. We made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake-san picking the lock. Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in. It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us. It's so dark in here. Take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san closed the door with a smile, as if leaving Tomitake-san out on purpose. Man. Alright everyone, have fun. As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could rely on was Takano-san's lantern. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Takano-san teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi, in turn, looked a little pale. I wonder if she'll hear the thudding noise that she heard in chapter 2 when they snuck in. Keiichi, in turn, looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building, even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa. Let's go in. Here we go. There. After Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years, and the smell of a fish market mixed together. Ooh. I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. Wow. At the far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me. And that's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, or Yashiro-sama. We're doing this again? Like again? I've done this so many times. I looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornaments. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance really was a curse, I couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Oyashiro-sama. If you really made Satoshi-kun disappear, I'll never forgive you. Never. Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Takano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbooks to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamizawa. I'd heard that story already, thank God, but I decided to walk around by myself. Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out to me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as if they were craving for fresh blood after not having been used in hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki main house. If those tools were the progenies of torture implements, these would be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old. I doubted they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house, so did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. They told me that cruel rituals were indeed performed in this village at one point. Now that I found scary. What Takono-san told me was the truth. When I stopped, Satoshi-kun also stopped behind me, one step later. I felt no emotional change in Satoshi-kun. I couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. I knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him. Who demoned you away? Hey, Satoshi-kun. Are you listening? I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left, as if he didn't hear anything. I could tell that he'd been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized then that there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar, an altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. It looked out of place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean that this storehouse is maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin buried in dust. So the brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Hinamizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Oyashiro-sama's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. As Takuno-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I'd accused Oyashiro-sama of demoning away Satoshi-kun, but Oyashiro-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. Iconic! Oh my god, Oyashiro-sama is such an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is the result of human action. It shouldn't be called Oyashiro-sama's curse. If Satoshi-kun was the fourth year's victim, then he was victimized by a human being who was just acting the part of a curse. The person who demoned away Satoshi-kun must not be very far from me. The truth behind Satoshi-kun's disappearance was so far from my grasp. Thump. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takuno-san and Keiichi. Takuno-san was still lecturing him. Did she drop a scrapbook or something? There's the noise. Sound came from right behind me, not from them. I'd never heard Satoshi-kun do that. It sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? The sound continued, ignoring my question. Though I heard it right nearby, it sounded as though a child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere distant. What's wrong, Satoshi-kun? You angry about something? I couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Is he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. What is it? It's not that I've been able to communicate with Satoshi-kun in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. I felt as if all my pores were opening. I'd been thinking that it was Satoshi-kun stomping on the floor. Hey. You're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or no, just silence. Satoshi-kun wouldn't scare me like that. I realized suddenly that the sound hadn't come from Satoshi-kun. A cold shiver shot through my feet and I sprung a step backward. The sound had come from right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still just a few meters away. Satoshi-kun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked, but if that wasn't Satoshi-kun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear its footsteps. So that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes. And I just wouldn't see it. I forgot everything and ran, straining my ears as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. ran right into Keiichi and clung to him, timidly turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. Seeing that chilling dark stillness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now. What's up, Shion? Did you get scared? Keiichi made fun of me. Even though he'd looked horrified just a little while ago, he now looked satisfied to see me scared too. I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted houses. Well, I don't mind it. Anyway, let's go, before Takano-san leaves us behind. I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I was able to hide my fear entirely. The footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into the light. The presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stomping sound, as if wanting some recognition, but neither Takano-san nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. Only Shion and Tomitake heard it. Because another one of my theories is that Shion always dies, whether we know it or not. But that's not the same as disappearing, that's not the same as being demoned away. I was thinking, like, what if it's, like, they both hear it because they're gonna die, but, like, that still also doesn't really make sense. It was possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it. Keiichi would never ignore it. If he could hear it, he would have said something. So, just like with Satoshi-kun, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi-kun in a bad mood? Was it possible that the presence I believed to be Satoshi-kun might not have been him at all? Thump. Thump. What are you upset about, Satoshi-kun? Tell me if I did something wrong. I'll apologize. You want Satoshi-kun, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Shion, you alright? I'm fine. You look pale, though. Then I'd appreciate it if you didn't stretch my clothes too much. Oh, sorry. Oh, am I interrupting you two? I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it became a bit more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled at me like a witch. Maebara-kun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oyashiro-sama's curse or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know. The night of Oyashiro-sama's curse. It certainly is. If the curse strikes for a 5th time, it'll happen tonight. Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with that one article. It was the article about the brutal murder of a Watanagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji era. And this is the story that actually happened. Okay. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onigafuchi village. I'm so curious to know what the thumping is. I'm so curious. Because I don't believe that it's a ghost. I won't believe it. But like... I don't know. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Okay. Guys, seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? Hell, it's freaking noisy. Cut it out already. And the next moment, we all heard a squeaking noise. We turned around in surprise. It was just Tomitake-san opening the door. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san laughed as if making fun of Tomitake-san for being such a scaredy cat. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over and everyone's going down to the river. Down, down, down by the river. The festival as a whole will be over within minutes. Time was up. I'd never expected that Tomitake-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh? Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I went into the entry room and turned around. Takano-san was taking photos in a mad rush, though our time was up. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi-kun either, but somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. Oh, it's so good, it's so good. The killer, the killer, the killer, Kia! Okay, oh my god. Alright, let's read the tips, and then I'm probably gonna end this stream, because I can't go for too much longer. So this is probably a good stopping point. Alright, notebook page 172. Ooh. That underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. The Sonozaki torture chamber? So do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals, man, including Watanagashi, have been passed down among the three families even after the Meiji era. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture, so Hinamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. The underground storehouse of the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one too. After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through the generations. I shall remain armed with the knowledge that occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. Alright, notebook page 173. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oyashiro-sama. Of course I knew that, since I'm originally from Hinamizawa, but violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research shows that the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects.
Inviolable.
Inviolable. Never to be broken, infringed, or dishonored. Okay. Long been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that Watanagashi was once a public execution, performed to stabilize the reign of the three families, rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual should hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But keep them hidden as possible and they gain divinity. Many said they would become tainted if the laymen touched them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual's storehouse's sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. Page 179. The reason why Takano-san and Tomitake-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. That's because, considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano's body was found— Okay. She must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse. Okay. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or that the plan had been set up a long time ago. Well, look, if it's the classic oil drum in the mountains... I actually don't know how classic that is. I don't know if that only happened once. But if it's the classic oil drum in the mountains, that could have been set up beforehand. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They might have been secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? Yeah. Alright. We're gonna stop here. End of chapter 9. Ooh, man, I'm so happy to be playing Higurashi. Okay, so, I'm not gonna be streaming tomorrow. May stream on Wednesday. I will not be streaming on Thursday or Friday. Probably not Saturday. Maybe Sunday, we'll see. Higurashi, those who happy! Yay! Higurashi when they happy! Yay! So yeah, I might see you on Wednesday. But yeah, thank you for coming along. And I can't wait to play more Higurashi. Oh yeah, so I hope you all have a very good day or night, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye bye everyone!
See ya, see ya, see ya.